All right, hello, welcome everybody. Bitcoin's up, the Bitcoin miners are up, the board is straight green. So we'll definitely talk about some of these in particular. Some of these are running big time, big moves to the upside. I'm looking for one. Oh yeah, that's pulled back a little, but still, I was looking at WULF was up over 20%. They're still up around 18% right now, so and they're not alone. Pretty good moves, but I do think this is only phase 1 of 2. Everything, you know, if this holds, I think we're going to get another day like this tomorrow. That's my opinion. We'll see what happens. Hello to everybody. FV702, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. And FV702 said, George sold CleanSpark and didn't tell me. I'm going to wait for him to get on. He said he was just going to jump on. He's out. He's going out to lunch right now, but he, I think he bought, he sold, he bought. I don't know where he ended up, so I'm going to wait for him. I think he did some stuff this morning, too, before the market opened, so I'm not going to speak for him. We'll wait. He should be on in a few minutes. So hopefully everybody's a happy camper. I'm very pleased. A little surprised at this push. So I think there's some reasons. We can talk about the reasons for it. And is it going to last? Which way are we going? Also, if everybody would be so kind as to smash the like button while we're on the stream here. It helps the stream out a lot. Much appreciated. Last time we did not get 100 likes. Although I went and looked and it said 100 likes. So I guess we ended up getting it like right at the very last second. So thank you everybody for that. And appreciate you smashing the like button today. And good morning to everybody. Let's see. We've got a lot of members on. We've got a lot of people. Steve, good morning. Raven, Edmund, FV702. George is on the chat, but he hasn't joined the stream yet. Edmund, good morning. Everybody in the members live stream was congratulating Edmund on his move, so he's looking good on that one. We'll talk about that. Miguel, Sour Melon Gaming, Martin, Raven, if I didn't say so, Organic Autos, FV702, sorry if I missed anybody else, and hello to everybody else, and welcome and good morning, and so far it is a good morning. Mertz, hello, good morning. Jay, good morning. So we got to talk Bitcoin. We did hit, so we got to see, my first question's, I might as well just start the poll. My first question's going to be, you can see I have a dotted line at 30,000. These are 15-minute candles, so this is zoomed in pretty much. I really very rarely zoom in more than to the 15-minute unless something real wild is going on. So we've got 3 15-minute candles that did get to that $30,000. And now we're a little bit below that. You know, we're $300 below that. So that is going to be my first poll of the day because that's really, this is the question. So give me 1 second while I type, if you don't mind. All right, this is just a yes or no question. And the question is Bitcoin going to close today's, I should have said daily candle. So the daily candle today, which closes in, you know, several hours from now, are we going to close over 30,000? So are we going to take over this 30,000 number and move back up? Remember, we did get to 31,000. I'm going to zoom out for a minute. We did get to, this is on the 4-hour time frame. So back on April 14th, so that was 12 days ago now, we did candle wick on the 4-hour time frame. We candle wicked above 31,000. We got to 31,050. So that's now 8 days ago. So can we get back there and make a run? And remember, this yellow line at 30,920, that represents Bitcoin up 100% from November 21st. So we're inching very, very close. We're just, let's see. Well, we need to go up another 4% to get back to our double in Bitcoin. And we were there just over a week ago. So that's the question. What's next? So so you can see we had a nice green candle yesterday. So that was strong. And this line at 27,000, we talked about this, you know, we were looking for a pullback to 25,002, or at least I was pondering whether or not, you know, we were going to get to 25.2 before we go up. I'm still bullish. I remain bullish. So I do think we're going to go up. But, you know, I thought there was a decent possibility we could retest this line right here. But really, this line at 27,000, you'll see a green or a blue dotted line at 27,000. And that held. This is on the 1-day time frame. We candle wick down and pretty much touched this. Technically, we got $35 under this. But, you know, 27,000 held for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And then yesterday, we had a solid move up. And now today, you know, the day's nowhere near over. But if this momentum holds, this is a very big green candle today. Miner Doc saying we need a monthly close over 30,000. Yeah, that would be nice. Every bigger close we can get is better and better. So a daily, a weekly, a monthly, because that'll lead us to my next question. So, all right, we got a real battle onto, is Bitcoin going to close today's candle over 30,000? We have a tough battle going. So if you have not voted, voting is free. Let's see the more opinions, the better. In the meanwhile, let me go back to the 15 minutes. So we've spent a little bit of time leveled off here, but you can see we had multiple. So for those of you new to the channel, the orange line is that is where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed yesterday. So from then until, because that's when, obviously, that's where the equities left off when we're looking at the Bitcoin miners. So from then until now, so we're up 7. Bitcoin is up 7.5%. At one point, it was up as much as almost 9%. So that's a big, big move. And that's why I say, to me, although these are fantastic moves and this is an awesome green day, I don't think this is fully priced in. I think the market doesn't believe this yet. And we're going to see our poll is kind of confirming that. So this big move up has not yet been priced into the Bitcoin miners. It's partially priced in for sure, but it's not fully priced in because the market seems to be skeptical as to whether or not we're going to hold this spot or not. I'm going to leave this poll open for just a few more minutes. We got 46 votes, so if you haven't voted, I'd love to know, because it's a super close poll. These polls have been getting closer and closer and closer. Is Bitcoin going to close the day today over 30,000? We are now at 29,700 and call it 50. 29,750. So we're about $250 under that at the moment. We did get over that in 3 consecutive 15-minute candles this morning. And that was actually before the U.S. equity markets opened. So it peaked right before the equity markets opened. But it's been in a super close range ever since. FV702. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks again. FRC is the catalyst. Change my mind. Well, I have no intention of changing your mind, because you will see I already have the tabs open. First Republic. I will say they're way off of their lows for the day. They got down to $4.76 today. They were down like 30 or 40%. They're creeping back up, but I agree 100% with FV702. First Republic strain poses question for the Fed, so we'll get into that. And then pressure mounts on First Republic as its stock continues to plunge. So again, it did plunge a lot more this morning. I think, see, at the time this was written, it was down 36%. Yesterday was down 49%. It's down 18% right now, but I'm not getting too excited. This bank has a big problem, and we're going to have to see. They're looking to other banks to try to bail them out now, and they're trying to make the argument that it's in all the bank's best interest to, jump in and save this bank. So we will see. Two big banks have failed this year. I think it's the second and third largest banks that have ever failed in the United States. Now, some of that is because, some stuff goes on with the big banks, the gigantic banks, the Bank of Americas of the world. The Fed has jumped in the past and just prevented them from failing. So, but, one at a time here, particularly the ones that are more closely correlated with the cryptocurrency world, they're letting some of these banks fail. So I don't see them letting, this spiral into, systemic failure across all regional banks. But one at a time, it's been a little while. Maybe this one doesn't make it. I don't know. I think it's a fair question. That can be another poll. Are these guys going to make it? I mean, they are way lower. They crashed way back when. This was a $171 stock in the last 52 weeks. It's down to $6. I mean, this is a catastrophic fall. Having said that, it's up from $4.76 earlier today, so it's up off of its lows from maybe an hour ago. But still, this minus 18% is following a minus 49% day to set their and that set their new, I'm gonna say all-time low. I don't know if sometime way back in the day they were lower than this, but they're recent. Let's look 5 years. Yeah, so this is their 5-year low at least. Is it their all-time low? It's their all-time low. So they're in trouble. They're in trouble. This vote is close, and we've got, thank you everybody for participating in the vote. We got a lot of votes, and this is very close. This has been happening lately. We're very, and it makes sense because Bitcoin's at a very funny point. It's not really giving a clear signal in either direction, and we have been talking about that for days and days on this channel, that although I remain bullish and I think the next move is up, our polls still are slightly bullish up until now. We'll do another one today, but for the most part, it was a runaway. People thought we'd hit 35 before 25. It started to get closer and closer, but the majority have thought we're going to hit 35,000 Bitcoin before 25,000 in every poll we've done here over the last several weeks. We'll try this again today once we get through this one. Let me try to just catch up a little bit on the chat. Jeff said, anyone else notice that Weeble's glitching? That's why we don't trade on Weeble, said Jeff. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading. Jay is saying, Catalyst is First Republic Bank going down. Yes, I agree. FV702 agrees. I mean, that's definitely, that's the catalyst. But we also had to be in a certain place, right? Bitcoin was teetering on making its next run. And, for those of you, and a lot of you I know are on here very frequently with me, so we've all been talking about, and like I said, the vote amongst us has been more bullish than bearish. But I did think it was certainly on the table that we could pull back. Let me just zoom out. We were hanging around here for several days, so the thought that we might bounce off of this line of support, we were only 6.5% away from that. So that seemed like a decently reasonable possibility. I did say, and I have always said, I felt like that line was very strong and it would hold. So I definitely would have had to reassess my position if we went below this, but I felt pretty strongly about that. But at the moment, it looks like we're not necessarily even going to go retest that line. Now, we did test this line at 28.8, which was a very significant line. And you can see we went above this, but it didn't hold. The first time we tested it, it closed one daily candle on the line, and then we went right below. Today's the first day back above. It did not seem... 2 days ago, there's no way I would have thought we'd be above 28.8 right now. I thought we had a lot of sideways action left and potential retest here, but like everybody's saying, we have this situation. First Republic Bank, see, now they're only down 16. You know, who knows? They could end up green today for all we know. I don't think there's any new news. So they're looking to sell some assets. We've seen that. First Republic continues to plunge on $102 billion in deposit outflow. So that was the news when they did their quarterly earnings. They had a massive outflow of money in the fourth quarter. First Republic pleads with big banks for rescue. Stock keeps tumbling, although it might be time to start arguing that it hit its low today, somewhere down under $5, and it's headed back almost up to $7 right now. We'll see. I mean, one day isn't going to decide their fate necessarily, and things aren't going well, but this is extremely high volume. They're already at triple their average volume, and it's, we're only a couple hours into the day. They might have bounced off the bottom for the moment. I'm not sure what's going to happen to these guys. Brody's saying, I believe miners only run hard when Bitcoin puts in new highs. So that's what I'm kind of saying is, I think until let me go to the 1. Well, we'll go to the 4 hour. Until this is confirmed, like this is a very strong move up. You can see on the 4 hour candles, this has been a nice move to the upside. But until this gets confirmed, and the best way to confirm this would be the two ways, really. If we go retest 28.8 and that holds and we bounce off of that and go up, that would be a very strong confirmation. Or if we continue up here and take out this previous high, right? We candle wicked up to about $31,000. So if we get above that, then I think the market's going to believe, and I think we're going to have another day. And this is what happened last time when we ran up to 31,000. We had, I think, 3 days in a row that were this type of green. Big moves. And then, obviously, they compound. If you're up 15% one day, and then you're up 15% again the next day, that's on top of the 15% you were already up. So these took big runs up here. So none of these stocks are back to where they were, just 12 days ago. So less than 2 weeks ago, they were still. We'll check a couple that are making big runs today. So I'm just going to run down a little bit. So, okay. So at last, Bitfarms is done with their fight with $1. And so that's over. So they have broken out a little bit. They're still at $1.20. That's still one bad day away from hanging around $1. But at this point, the game has changed, because now if they were to close under $1, before they had a deadline they were trying to meet. But the reset button has been pressed. So they will now have, if they did get under $1, they have to be under $1 30 days in a row to get out of compliance. So they're a long way from that. And then it's another 180 days to get back into compliance. So for the time being, I believe that's off the table. I did say I thought we were going to take a run to $1.50. So I thought Bitfarms would run to $1.50 sometime, in this next. I think if we take out this high, if we can pass 31,000 and get to, somewhere in the $31,000 to $32,000 range, I'm expecting Bitfarms to go to $1.50. I've been saying that for a few weeks. It has not happened yet, but today is a very nice move up 13.6% right now. But it's not alone. There's plenty of Marathon's up more than that, right? Marathon's the second largest market cap. It's up 18%. Stronghold's up 22%. Terawulf is up almost 21%. So you've got a bunch of these over 20%. Almost all of these are in the double digits. I mean, Hive rounds up to 10%, 9.7%. Argo Blockchain's at 7%. Mawson's at 2%. DigiHost is at 9%. Most of the rest of this list is MicroStrategy, which you probably can't see. I think that my little spot where I sits in the way of that. But actually, if I just do this, you will be able to see. Sorry, I don't know if I said Microsoft. MicroStrategy is up almost 10% today. But they're still not back to where they were 2 weeks ago. So, this is a gigantic move up for them, but still has not set a local high. And almost none of these have. A couple of them are. So we'll check out a few charts in specific. But Austin said, Wolf. Yeah, Wolf continues to be on fire. I mean, they're up almost 21% now. Wolf and Stronghold are the big movers. Bit Digital's up 17%. Marathon, like I said, I mean, that just based on market cap, this 17% move is massive. Riot's the largest market cap. It's up over 12%. So that's a massive move as well. I don't know why a few, there's always a few of these that lag behind, but for the most part, I mean, this is a very green day. All right, let's see. Let me catch up. Eric's glad he didn't sell this week. Yes. Raven, we got to 100 people. Nice. Looks like we're a little under now. But yeah, if you guys do me a favor and smash the like button, it really does make a difference. We get more people on the stream. More people on the stream, we get more votes. We get more interactions. So I do appreciate it very much. It's free to press the like button, and it's free to vote. Should I call this? Because this is a tie. I mean, we could go on. Is Bitcoin going to close today's candle over $30,000? Right now, it's 48% say yes, 52% say no. This has been super tight the whole way. We have 75 votes. So, that's a significant number of people that voted. And it's, in the margin of error for me, this is a coin toss. This is as close to 50-50 as we get. So I'm going to end this poll, and then we'll see what happens. Let's get to the next one. Oh, now we're 51%, 49%. So, I mean, 52-48. So, all right, I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to say we're within the margin of error. We're absolutely split on this one as to whether or not we're going to close over 30,000. We're at 29,815 right now. We did get over 30,000 today already, but the question is, are we going to get back and stay over? All right, that poll ended at 51% to 49. Oh, it's saying, so somehow it's rounding 50% to 49%, but we'll call it 51 to 49. So unbelievably close, just about as close. I think one vote would have made it 50-50. So that's as close as you can get. Jeff is saying RIP to the folks on the sidelines. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there were a lot of people, including some of our members and subscribers that have been on our live stream chatting that have said, listen, they took their profits. They're gonna sit and wait out a bit and wait for a dip. So at the moment, Sour Melon Gaming, I think, said yesterday, and I think Sour Melon Gaming's on today. I'm not sure. Yes, Sour Melon Gaming. Someone just shared this live stream all over the miner pages on StockTwits. Oh, that's funny. Nice. So, Sour Melon Gaming said yesterday that was the dip. We're about to have a rip to 32,000. So, I'm going to give you, we're not there yet, but we're just about at 30. So, your call is looking good. Jay's saying you called it right at 27.6 resistance. Let's see. Organic said, jumped back into Riot and Marathon yesterday again and was crashed out since last week. I thought 25 was the next stop, 25.2. And Organic Auto, I mean, you're not alone. That seemed like a very reasonable possibility. I thought 25.2 was the next stop, but this is Bitcoin. Expect the opposite of what everyone thinks will happen. Pleasant surprise. Bitcoin. Yeah, sometimes it's a pleasant surprise. Sometimes it's the other thing. So I'm just seeing if anything's jumping. We're staying pretty steady. So the gigantic winners on today. I mean, I guess you got to say, let's just say at the moment there's the top four. Stronghold's at 21%. Terawulf's just under 21%. Marathon's at 17%. And Cleanspark's up 15.5%. And with that said, so I'm just going to use Cleanspark as an example, because if you go and look, so here's Cleanspark. Let me go to the 1 day because the 4 hour doesn't mean anything. But you can see this, look at this giant gap up today. So huge up day, but Cleanspark was here last week. Cleanspark was at $5.16 last week. So it's just running up, a gigantic run up today to $4.25. But what I'm saying is I do think if we can confirm that we're going to hold over 30, if we can get back over 31 and head to 32, it's only maybe the next $1,500 in Bitcoin. I think we get another day tomorrow just like this day today, if we can hold those lines, because most of the stocks look like this one. This is a great run up from here, but it just spent a week going down. Well, let's go to the top. So this has another 20% to run just to get back to where it was last week. So, the way these things go, you can see it's up 15.6% today. That could be one more good day. But let's check out a couple of the other ones that are having runaway days. Terawulf. Okay, so in Terawulf's instance, this is now beyond where it was. So, and Terawulf has had the best, over the last month, this has been the best performer. Over the course of 2023, over the year, so over the, almost 4 months now, it's not necessarily the best performer. It took a little while to get going, but once it started, this has been from March 17th. So that's just, that's 1 month and 10 days ago. It's up 216%. So congratulations to everybody who caught the Wolf trade. We talked about this on this channel a lot right at this time. For this whole time here when it was doing this sideways thing, we were talking about Wolf a lot. I put a video out on Wolf, and a lot of members were saying that they're building a position in Wolf. So congratulations to anybody on the stream right now. Let us know in the chat if you're catching this run up. That's 200% run in just over a month. I mean, that's awesome. 21% of it's today. Let's see Stronghold. This has made a huge run as well. But it's still not quite back to where it was last week. So this is why I'm saying, this is why I think there's another green day ahead if we can hold this move up. This has another 10% to go just to get back to where it was. So the market is pricing in 50-50. It doesn't exactly believe we're going to get where we're going. Also, we were a little higher. We did bounce off of 31,000 a week ago. So, but let's look at, for instance, Cleanspark and Riot. Riot and Marathon. Because these are the big market caps. So you can see Riot, huge gap up today. So, a great day. It's up almost 12%, but it's got to move 20% more just to get back to where it was last, a week ago. So that's where a lot of these sit. A couple of them have run beyond, but a lot of these sit in this type of place where, you know, we're back on the move, and if Bitcoin can hold, then we probably should get back to these highs and maybe take these highs out. Let's just look at Marathon. Yep, it's same situation. Marathon's 21% down, you know, away from where it was last week. Let's look at Cipher. So Cipher's the third largest by market cap of all the Bitcoin miners. It's significantly smaller than Riot and Marathon, but it is the third largest by market cap. So this would need to go up almost 40% to get back to where it was, you know, a week and a half ago or whenever it was. So you're looking at 10, 20, 30, 40% moves potentially to the upside just to get back to where these stocks were. There was only one stock that we looked at, and we didn't look at them all, but there was only one that had actually passed where it was. Even Bitfarms with this big run, 14% run up, it is not back to where it was last week. So that's, you know, 11.5%. So it's getting there. And I do think it's going to take the next leg up from there. I'm thinking this is going to go from $1.20 to $1.50-ish, you know, in this run right here, if we can, you know, if this run can continue. But we will see. All right, we got 68 likes. Thank you, everybody, very much for smashing the like button. If you have not and you're able to, can you please smash the like button? It helps the stream a lot. Much appreciated. We're having about as good a day as we get here on Bitcoin. Let's go back to the 15-minute and see what's what. So, yeah, I mean, you can see on the 15-minute time frame, this is an awful lot of candles. We took this giant run up here several hours ago. Just this one 15-minute candle was, you know, over 2% run up. So that was big. And since yesterday, since the market closed yesterday, so Bitcoin was at 27,612. So Bitcoin is now up 8%. So for those Bitcoin miners that are up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%, they're really not making the corresponding move. That means, you know, they're following along with Bitcoin, but the market doesn't quite believe this move yet. Some of these are getting their leverage play up 8%. Even the two biggest gains on the day are 21%. That's still not a 3x leverage on the move Bitcoin made. So now I'm not going to split hairs on a Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's up 28% and your Bitcoin miner, for instance, Stronghold or Terawulf, is up 21%, I would count that as a good day. But even some of these up, you know, 15%, that's 2x leverage to the upside, but it's typically more than that. And I think the rest of it will follow. Whereas, you know, like Hut and Hive and Cipher, those are close to 1x, you know, the same. So there could be more room. There could be more room to the upside, and I think it seems like we're going to get this, but I will say it's still super ambiguous. There's a reason the market's kind of half in on this. If we look at the 4-hour RSI, so you're going to see we just ran from April 21st. We were in way oversold territory. We were under 20. Under 30 is considered oversold. We were under 20. And so we've taken that journey from the 21st to the 26th. We've gone from 19 to 77. Now, you can see this does get higher. This got to 86. This got to 83-ish. This got to over here to 87. And I'm only back to February of this year. So, you know, somewhere around 85 does happen. But then on the 4-hour, you know, at some point, this is a big, big run up. You can see we've got this massive momentum. So it won't last forever. But I want to look at the 1 day. So to me, this is the better news. even if we, even if we go sideways a little bit from here, what I'm hoping we can do, so to me, this is best case scenario. We hold 30,000 today. We close above a $30,000. And even if we have to go sideways a little bit, you'll see this was March 10th. So March 10th was the bottom. That was the day the banks failed in March. So Bitcoin was in the middle of a pullback that I think was going to keep going a little bit, but it stopped in its tracks. And you can see, so the last time the banks had a problem, Bitcoin took off. So Bitcoin went from oversold on the one day, in a short period of time from March 10th to March 17th. That's 1 week. We went from oversold to overbought. But you can see we've maintained 50 is neutral. We've been above that the whole time. When we dipped down lately, we got as low as what? We got as low as 41. But you can see the couple of times we dipped below 50, we did get back up. This one was a full reset. But again, Bitcoin was having the downward momentum. We talked about it on the channel. There was no question. We were in the middle of a pullback. You can see that clearly. So here, though, I do think we have a chance on the 1 day. You'll see on the MACD, the momentum is changing. So you never want to call this early just because it's heading in the right direction. We're headed towards a bullish crossover. That doesn't mean we're going to get one. And even if we do, just look at what happened actually, I don't have to go that far back. Look at what happened just right here. On April 11th, we got a bullish crossover, and we got almost nothing out of that. Very little momentum, very small candles on the histogram, and then a move back to the downside, but really right back to where we were. So it looks like, so the optimist would look at this and say, you know what, maybe tomorrow we get a bullish crossover on the 1 day, and, then we've got some room to run on the upside. We're at, what are we at? 59. So, again, in January of 2023, we got up to almost 90 on the daily RSI. Now, that is unusually high. It's done it before, but, that's a once-a-year type of thing. But we could easily get to 70 or 80 on the daily RSI if we're about to have a nice run. So, but you can see where these are all, hinting in a certain direction, but there's been no confirmation. None of these have confirmed that we're back bullish and the next move is up. There's some optimism to be seen, and this is where charting always gets difficult, and a lot of people don't like technicals because, you can see this is more of an art than a science on days like today where you're not getting a very clear reading. All right, so what is our next poll? All right, so we were 50-50 on what's going to happen today, but let's do our normal poll. This is the poll we do every time. Let's see where we're at now. Okay, so I've been trying to keep this simple. We're doing basically the same poll all the time. And let's see where everybody is at now. So this one is the next move for Bitcoin. Is the next move up to 35 or back down to retest 25? So, obviously today looks great. We've got 2 nice days in a row, but again, I don't see any strong indicator that's been a clear confirmation that we're breaking to the upside. I do think I'm going to zoom out a little and I continue to say, as I have all year this year, so this was November 21st. This was a double bottom. We were down, around 15,000. Where'd we get to? 15,460. So we got to around 15,500 twice, about a week apart. That was in November. I mean, to me, I'm just drawing this arrow. This has been the momentum ever since. So yes, we did have a pullback here. We did have a pullback here, but this is what we taught as we were pulling back. We were saying, you know, a 10 to 20% pullback, and that was the difference between getting to 27,000 or 25,000. Anything in there, 10 to 20% is a normal pullback inside of these bull runs. So I don't see anything big picture. We're still very bullish in my opinion. It's just, you know, this week, do we finish? Last time it was the banks that stopped this pullback. Dead in its tracks, and we never looked back. So is the same thing happening right now? Right? Is First Republic, is that what it's called? Yeah, First Republic Bank, is that putting in a bottom here for us, and now we're taking the next leg up? That is what happened last time. So, you know, that's an even bigger picture. So that's why I remain bullish. But you never know from day to day, like, what's it going to do today? What's it going to do this week? Sometimes even what's it going to do this month is hard to say. But I will say, on this larger time frame, we are absolutely positively in an uptrend. The momentum is bullish. So until we see a reversal, that's where I'm at. The question is, when we look at the daily, you know, to try to figure out what's going to happen today, what's going to happen this week, everything's a little bit of a gray area. Sometimes it's a little more obvious than this. And even sometimes when it's obvious, you get fooled because, you know, something happens. Like, for instance, yesterday, First Republic being down 49%. So now it turned back around. It's down almost 20% today. So we'll see. So that's off of the heels of a down 49% day. That down 49% day yesterday got it to its all-time low, and now we're down another 20% from there. So this is we don't know if this bank is going to make it or not. Let me see if I can read some of the comments. JR, I get gun shy to dollar cost average on the upswing. Too used to buying the dip. I mean, we're a year plus, almost a year and a half into buying the dip. So I get it. I mean, and I don't do the actual technical definition of dollar cost averaging, which would be to just, you know, methodically, whatever it is, every Friday when you get your paycheck, put in $100 or whatever the case may be. Obviously, it's different for everybody, but so because we've had so many dips, I've done what JR I think has done, which is I've dollar cost averaged in substantially, but it's been buying the dip along the way for the most part. So I'm in the same position, JR. On a day like today, I'm not buying anything. So, but I did buy some stuff over the course of the last week. So just not, you know, not on an up day like this. And then, you know, if we have a pullback, we were in a bit of a range right now. So I found a couple opportunities last week that I thought to add to some positions, and this week not so much. Edmund saying right on about George Wolf. I don't know what was said about George. Seth, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I'm just going back and looking in the chat. I see your name. Hello. AD is saying yes. Catch Wolf at 61 cents and Stronghold at 58 cents. So AD, that's a win. You're up, you know, more than 100% on both of those already. So good work and congratulations to AD. That's awesome. Oh, Sour Melon Gaming said everybody thank George for selling his Wolf last month. George sold his Wolf at like almost to the penny at the bottom. And it's just been on a vicious upswing ever since. So that was not lucky. Nolan saying if Marathon Digital can go to 23 exahash in July of 2023 with 11,000 Bitcoin and producing 1,500 Bitcoin, let's see. Marathon market capitalization can be greater than Riot. My only issue with that is, you know, I just don't think they're going to. I think they're much improved. 2023 is a much better year, in my opinion, for Marathon than 2022 was. 2022 was very, very rough riding. So, I don't know. Sorry, everybody. The YouTube's trying to make me do something. Get out of my stream. All right. Sorry. Pardon the interruption. I do think they're going to get to 23 exahash in 2023. Right, 2022 was just brutal. I mean, there's just no anybody that doesn't admit that. They lost, like, I think $600 million, and they got down 1 month in the middle of the year last year. I think they mined 73 Bitcoin, which, you know, that's very close to having their operations shut down. So they've made massive progress from there. I've opened a position in them. I do think they're going to get to 23 exahash, but I do not think that they're going to get anywhere near 23 exahash by July of 2023. So I could be right. I could be wrong. We'll see. But to me, you know, they've missed every target they've ever set. So, and I have been saying all along, you know, if they get it in the end, if they get there, it's not going to make that big of a difference. So if they get there in November instead of July, even if they get there next February, you know, if they can get to 23 exahash the right way, and we can see their cost per coin come down and start to see them be profitable, then yeah, I mean, their market cap has been greater than Riot's for a lot of the time over the last 2.5 years. But it's been a long run now that Riot passed them up. I think Marathon did jump ahead of them for a couple of days in 2023, but almost every day in 2023, Riot's market cap has been greater than Marathon's. And that is likely to switch back and forth as it has so many times. If anybody's ever bored, they can count the times, but that's gone back and forth over the last 2.5 years. Many, many dozens of times. Todd said, smash the like button. Let's see. Mark said, I flipped Wolf 10 times in my tax-free account over the last 4 weeks. Tom, you've been consistent and resilient through the storm. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, Mark. I'm glad to do it, and I'm glad all you guys have stuck with us, and we've had some great live streams. Some on these great days like today, and it's always nice. It's great to celebrate together on a day like today. This is just a green board across the board. So if you hold a Bitcoin miner, you're probably having a very good day. If you hold Bitcoin, you're probably having a very good day. So congratulations to everybody. But we've done plenty of live streams together on days that were tough, and that's part of getting from, you know, here to the finish line. There's going to be good days and bad days. So I appreciate, thank you, Mark, and I appreciate all you guys. Special thanks to all of the members. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I've mentioned before that the YouTube sharing revenue is just down drastically, so I'm not going to go on about it. But I do appreciate it. It does make a difference for those of you who it's $5 a month to be a member. And, you know, we do a members-only live stream. So we did a members-only live stream yesterday. Every Tuesday after the market closes, we do a members-only live stream. And just before it ended, I did accidentally, my foot hit the plug and disconnected my computer. So we ended about 10 minutes early yesterday. My apologies to those of you who are here on yesterday's live stream, but we did have our poll and we picked our stock to do a deep dive. So ChargePoint, for those of you who don't know, was the winner yesterday. So that's going to be the next deep dive. And for those of you who are not members, consider joining. You'll see in the chat there's a link. It says, it's a blue link, I think, that says Streamlabs, and you can press and you can join the channel. It's $5 a month. You are welcome to join. For those existing members, you can also gift memberships, which we've had a few people do over time. So all of that is appreciated. Enough said. Let's see, Edmund. Tom sold 20 Bitfarm August $1.50 puts for 55 cents. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a big win. If you were able to sell Bitfarms August $1.50s for 55 cents, I mean, you've got a big buffer zone there. That should be a win. And those are puts. So those aren't in the money yet, but you're in the money. And as long as Bitfarms doesn't go the other way, and there's a good chance that'll be over $1.50 and you'll get to keep all of that. I don't know if you're also, in addition to that, holding Bitfarms, then you're going to win double. Barry's asking, any thoughts on the Hut merger? Wasn't too much in that interview. Yeah, I mean, this Hut merger remains a bit of a mystery, I think, to me and to everybody. I'd like to just get clarity on it. I don't think that their future is contingent upon this merger going through. I don't think it's a disaster if it doesn't. I think they would absolutely prefer to do this merger. They seem convinced it's a good move. I think if it happens, we will get to find out a little bit in more detail as to just exactly what the upsides to this move are. We see some of them. You know, they'll be domiciled in the United States. They're going to get to increase their exahash rate away as far as their Bitcoin mining goes. So, but if it does not happen, you know, I'm hoping that they've got some plan B and a plan C, because they do have an incredibly strong balance sheet, and it's my very strong opinion, if it's not this merger, they need to make a move before the halving, which is about 1 year from today. So, you know, I'm not telling them to rush. First of all, I'm not telling them anything. They don't listen to me. But, you know, in my opinion, they don't need to rush and do something, you know, the wrong thing. But I do think they need to be methodical and make a move before the halving, because right now, you know, things have gone in the wrong direction from a Bitcoin mining standpoint. Now, they do have some diversified streams of revenue. That's a good business model. I like that. I love the strong balance sheet. But the Bitcoin mining portion of what they're doing, it's almost like it's on hold right now. So I do want to see something happen, and I wish I had more details, but I just don't think they're out there yet. So we gotta wait, I suppose. Let's see. I just lost what I read. I was going to read something and it disappeared. Darren is saying, Marathon bought those machines at the peak premium. By the time they get them all plugged in, they'll be obsolete and need replaced. So I half agree with that. They certainly did buy them at the peak price. I do know a lot of these Bitcoin miners, and I'm not sure if Marathon is one of them. If I had to guess, I bet they did. They all did some renegotiating. So those very, very peak prices, they did pay for some of those machines at those. Some of those, I think they were able to negotiate down off of that. But, you know, nowhere near the bargains that, let's say, CleanSpark has bought a lot of machines at very cheap prices. And, you know, we've started to see some other Bitcoin miners announce that they're buying machines now, and it's more in the plus or minus $15 a terahash range, which is significantly less. But I don't think any of these machines are obsolete. The S19Js, I think it is, you know, so even the base model of that, to me, it's by no means obsolete. They have a couple of years left of being profitable, unless, of course, Bitcoin tanks. But even at Bitcoin 30,000, those machines are highly profitable. Yes, there's newer machines that are another level more efficient than that. And, you know, that's going to continue forever. But it's not like, you know, if they had all S9s, I would say, you know what, those are all, they're not feasible anymore. They're just not feasible. They're not profitable. They're not something to build a business around. But the 19s are still okay, especially if they're fresh out of the box and they take care of them, and they should be able to get They should be able to more than pay for themselves. Edmund said, Tom, thank you for everything that you do. You're welcome, Edmund. Thank you. Thanks for all your input and thoughts and ideas. And I know you've had a couple very big winning trades that you've shared with us. Not financial advice, but everybody's free to share their trades that they do. And, you know, we can all do our own due diligence. Edmund said, glad I joined the membership. Thank you, Edmund. And I'm glad you joined as well. It's a great addition. And we do have also our members-only Discord is on fire right now. I will say that. So thank you to everybody in the members-only Discord. And we do have a free Discord. You're also welcome to join that. So feel free. But I will tell you, we have some moderators, but it's too hard to control the conversation in there. We do our best. But in the members-only Discord, we have a very robust conversation going, and I think it's a lot more on point. It's not a lot of trolling or any of that kind of nonsense that goes on. In the other one, nobody in there is everybody be careful in the main Discord and even on the YouTube channel in the comments sections. You get people pretending that they're me, asking you to do things or whatever the case may be. None of that's me. All right, my stuff is, if you can become a member, and that's right through YouTube. So, you know, you hit the join button on YouTube. So I did that on purpose because, you know, I didn't want there to be any doubt with anybody as to whether or not that was me on my channel. So if anybody's asking you to do anything else, please be careful. It's almost certainly not me. It's somebody pretending to be me. And even though we're a small channel, we still have endless number of people that do that. They must, obviously, somebody's got the ability with bots to just, you know, do this on a grand scale. Wesley saying, Tom, did you get a chance to look at the EV charger company ALLEGO yet? So I haven't, other than just looking at it and adding it to my EV charger watch list. I haven't done a deep dive on it yet, but I will, and I am doing a deep dive. So as I do my video for ChargePoint for the members, I'll definitely remember to take a look at that, and because there's only 4 or 5 players that are, you know, pure play in that space. So I'll definitely update my due diligence on that one as well. So thanks for the reminder. I'm just going to write that one down, too, so that... All right. Raven's saying that's called a super troll. I don't know what that is. That in response to what I said or what somebody said in the chat? I don't know. Kevin, I think there's a video that shows you how to get the member, how to link to the member Discord from YouTube. So you should see that in the community posts for members. You should see a link to like a 1-minute video or 1.5-minute video. It's super simple to do if you watch the video. Steven said, Edmund's a top man. Delighted he's here. I agree, Steven. Thanks for your input. Sanity's Eclipse. If you're going to trade, use options, buy shares for the long. So, and that's similar to... I am mostly a buy and hold, but I do try to capitalize on options, you know, to a lesser extent, either to make some extra money during a run-up or, you know, selling options when things are going in the wrong direction. At least you mitigate some of your losses. So, but everybody, please be careful with options. You guys know, or if you don't know, options can be tricky, and they're a leverage play, and they're much more volatile and higher risk than just holding the stock. So if you know what you're doing, great. If you don't, learn what you're doing, and options trading can be fun, but please be careful. Jackie Tucker saying, we'll buy more CleanSpark after their offering. Gary, I don't agree. If Marathon had met their goal of 23 exahash by the end of 2022... Sorry, I'm going to interrupt that for just a second. I want to come back to that. James Ross has gifted
welcome to Talking Investing.
5 memberships. Thank you, James. Much appreciated. We'll see who those new members are. This is not the first time James Ross has gifted memberships, so hopefully, you know, those of you who get the memberships, you enjoy them, and there's a bunch of content there ready and waiting for you. You can watch yesterday's members-only live stream is there as well. So thank you very much, James.
Welcome to Talking Investing.
And so let me pick up where I was on Gary's thought. I don't agree. If Marathon had met their goal of 23 exahash by the end of 2022 versus doing it at the end of 2023, they would be mining an extra 1,000 coins a month. That is 12,000 coin difference. I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm not saying there's no difference. I think there was never really a realistic shot. If you look at how that all played out, it's not like there was any path at all. There were several. I'm going to say they're not vertically integrated.
All right, welcome to Talking Investing.
Integrated. They they have a lot of business partners that they rely on, and so I just don't think there was any scenario where they were going to get to 20. I said that all year last year, so this is not me talking after the fact. You can check all my videos. I never thought there was any chance they would get to 23 exahash in 2022. But you're right. If they had done that, I wrote that off because I just dismissed it well over a year ago. It was clear that that was just not happening. But I will agree with you, Gary. If they had done that, they would be minting Bitcoin, and they would have, 10 or 12,000 more Bitcoin if they were able to mine them and hold on to them. The only other caveat to that would be, what's their cost per coin? Now, at Bitcoin, hanging around near 30,000, they're just fine. But there may have been some months in the middle where they actually would have turned off or dialed back or underclocked or whatever you want, because their cost per coin still, as of the fourth quarter, is pretty high. It's among one of the highest out of all of them. Now, whenever a company's in the middle of scaling up and they're a quarter of the way done with their plans or halfway done with their plans, I always leave a lot of room for the fact that, the numbers that you crunch in the financial statements are likely to be different going forward once they reach their goal. So it could be that their cost per coin is going to come down dramatically by the end of the year. So we'll see where they go. Yeah, in a perfect world, 23 exahash in 2022 is what they wanted to do. But this was definitely not a perfect Bitcoin world. We went through a crypto winter and so many other forces. And I'm not giving them a pass. Trust me, if you watch my videos, I do a marathon video every single month. So by no means have I given them a pass. I just wrote that off as a possibility a long time ago. But I do think it's a possibility they get there by December of 2023. Gary's saying, how can mining 12,000 less Bitcoins be insignificant to them? So you're right. That is, if they had done that, that would be a big deal. If they could maybe have doubled their stack, right? They could have maybe avoided that $100 million they borrowed in the middle. That was a bit of a disaster. So they would have been in much, much better shape. So there's no doubt. Having said that, if they're at 23 exahash at December 31st, 2023, they will be the largest Bitcoin miner publicly traded by a lot. And, so there is time left for them to overtake that #1 market cap position and still thrive as a company. But yes, it's nowhere near where they would have been had they had that. All this time before the halving, obviously that's I'm not going to say a freebie, but you're getting twice the reward right now that you're going to versus next year. So yeah, it's tough to miss, to have missed all of that. Barry said Lucid's having a very good day, so this is not financial advice, but I know what I would do with Lucid on a good day. So, for those of you, yeah, Lucid's having a good day. I don't know if there's some specific news. I can check it out. I just did a Lucid video. I think Lucid's going to zero. It could take them, and again, not financial advice. That's just my opinion, but I think they're going to zero. Hold on. I think I missed. What did I miss? Oh, I wanted to announce all the winners of the memberships. So let me just take a second and do that, because we now have 5 new members. Craig Miller, congratulations. You were gifted a membership. I'm going to mispronounce half of these names, but Suwan was gifted a membership, so I'm not good at pronouncing names, so I apologize in advance to everybody. Francis was gifted a membership. You guys can tell me phonetically how to say your name. I'm butchering everybody's name. Okay, here's one. John Richardson. I got that one. Was gifted a membership. So is that all 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and Silver Hunter was gifted a membership by James Ross. So thank you, James, and welcome to the 5 new members. I hope you enjoy your membership. All right, let me get back on track. Gary's saying they then diluted shareholders more than any other miner, 50 million shares in Q4. I think still talking about Marathon. Yeah, I mean, I won't argue any of those things, and I think if you watch my videos, no one's been, well, I won't say nobody, but I was fairly critical of Marathon all the way along, but I do, now that they're turning the corner, the past is the past. Yes, they blew it. There were probably 12 monthly operational reports in a row where I was very disappointed, and I said so. But that time is gone. They can't get that back. So the best you can hope for now is that they try to get on a plan and keep on that plan going forward. So they are still, their financial statements, yes, they did just some dilution, but their financial statements are rock solid, in my opinion. They have one of the strongest balance sheets in the entire industry. So it's not like they're going anywhere. The question is, they're not going away, but can they get to where they said they're going? Can they get to 23 exahash? Can they do so at a reasonable cost per coin? And can they maintain, operational excellence at some point? Because their efficiency has been low as well. So they're not where they need to be operationally at all on any level. But they have given themselves a chance, and because they've made such good financial decisions, they're still in the hunt for being the largest Bitcoin miner. And we don't know who's going to end up being the largest Bitcoin miner, right? We know Riot has big plans. We know CleanSpark has big plans. There's a lot of these other companies creeping up that probably have bigger plans that we know, and who knows what Hut's going to do. They've been very dormant, and we've been quiet about them, but they could surge. We know Terawulf and Cipher, and who else? There's a lot of companies that are increasing exahash. Who put Iris Energy is increasing their exahash. They put out their 90th press release regarding their journey to 5.5 exahash today, and I'm using hyperbole. It's not actually their 90th, but they continue to kind of tell us the same thing over and over and over, but they are very, very close. I think their press release today said they got to 5. They are now operational at 5.2 exahash. This is Iris Energy. So, they're coming on strong. Bitfarms just announced some moves to get them to 5.7 exahash in a few months. So now, my point being, none of that's 23. So if they can get to 23 and they can do so profitably, they're going to be one of the winners. even though they made me want to, bang my head against the wall all year in 2022. Let's go back to let's see what's happening here. All right, so no big changes right now. Everything's still very green, plus or minus what it was. Stronghold's now up about 15.6%. It was over, or 15.9. It was over 20%. It was at 21%. Terawulf has held on, still at 21% up on the day. So that's the big winner on the day. Marathon is way up on the day. Cleanspark's right just behind them, way up on the day. But all of these still with room to get back to where they were just, 2 weeks ago. So more upside ahead if this move can hold. So there's a few important things. If we could recapture 30 and close above that, that would be great. Most importantly, I think it's crucial that we hold 28.8. If we retest it and bounce off of it, that would actually be a nice confirmation that we're holding it. But we want to say, if we go back below this, then all this action could have just been some short-term, one of these fake outs, bull trap, where, the banks had some bad news for a day or two and Bitcoin ran up. So I'm not dismissing that as a possibility. Let's see, what did I just miss? We have a new member. And once again, apologize in advance. Jason Vinhas. So everybody just know my sincerest apologies for butchering your names. That was, I'm not a very strong speller either, for those of you who are interested in knowing. I'm more of a numbers person. But welcome to the Talking Investing Squad. Thank you for joining. There's a bunch of content ready and waiting for you, and if you watch that short video, you'll be able to hook up to the members-only Discord conversation as well. So thanks so much for joining. Glad to have you with us. And that is hello from Brazil. So our new member is from Brazil. How are things in Brazil? Really like your content. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Glad to have you with us. Let's see. Sourmelon Gaming said, Tom, do you think the operations growth most of these companies have had will outweigh the dilution they've done since the last bull run in 2021? Yeah, for most of them, it's not even close. Even the ones that have done massive dilution, it is nowhere near the scale to the increase that they've done in their exahash. Now, the difficulty level gets harder. So, that's a variable going the other way. They got to manage their energy costs. So everybody has a different piece, everybody's puzzle looks different there. And then, of course, we'll get the halving. But yes, I think that for the ones, and you can watch my videos. I've done a deep, most of the top 10, I do a monthly update on. So for the ones that I have high conviction in, yeah, I think like Cleanspark's done a lot of dilution, and I know that makes people nervous, but I think that's been highly accretive, and they are in a much better spot. So Bitfarms has done dilution, but they also got themselves out of about $140 million of their debt, which was necessary for survival and to thrive going forward. So it depends from miner to miner, and you hope that every Bitcoin miner uses their best judgment. This is an industry where everybody has to be in growth mode. So if you're expecting no stock dilution, you definitely need to switch to another industry, because you're not going to get that here. These companies have to grow, and they really can't take debt. So there's only 3 ways to grow. One of them is debt, and that is most common for most companies. But as a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies learned the hard way, the only debt that anybody will give them is very, very bad debt. And, it almost put a lot of these companies out of business. There were several of these companies that had to completely restructure their business, give some or all of their machines back, all types of things like that. So debt is just not an option. You know, profitability is another way to fund growth, but, you know, we've been in a crypto winter. So there was a year where, you know, you'd be lucky to be cash flow positive, never mind profitable. But, you know, now we're moving maybe into a spot where some of these companies will be nicely cash flow positive and profitable, and they can fund operations as well as some of their growth through their, you know, cash flow from operations. That's what we're looking for. That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't expect them to do no dilution if they're going to get where they're going. Now, if they have no plans to grow, if they're where they want to be and they feel like that's good enough going into the halving, then, you know, I don't know who's right or wrong. Maybe, you know, maybe some of these companies are okay at 5 or 6 exahash, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go into a holding pattern right here and strengthen my balance sheet for the next year. And then we'll see what happens at the halving. So, you know, who's to say which strategy is right or wrong? But a lot of these companies are in a strategy where they're saying, listen, if I want to get this exahash rate up before the halving, especially since, you know, to go back to that conversation we were having earlier, you know, even if, let's say Marathon has 4 months at 23 exahash before the halving. Yeah, that should have been 16 months, so that is a gigantic difference, but at least they'll have 4 where they can probably bank, you know, if Bitcoin's still healthy, they can bank a lot of Bitcoin or generate a lot of cash flow. DEFCON 2 is saying, at Jeff D'Agostino, Marathon's Dubai plans is in addition to the 23 exahash. So I think they'll still be mining more. And that's true. And I will tell you, I am a little dismissive of those plans. They're a minority interest holder in what looks like maybe it's going to be something, but it's very early stages. So there's some potential there that I'm not pricing into their stock at all. So if that turns into something big, you know, then you know, that could be even more upside for them. Jay is saying, shouldn't compare Cleanspark to Marathon since the latter holds over 11K of Bitcoin, which is currently valued over $300 million. So that's what you have to take into account. And there's a bunch of things to take into account. So I agree with you, Jay. You can't just straight up compare market cap to market cap. You've got to look at, there's 6 or 7 or 8 other things to look at. I would say that definitely the next biggest thing in line is strength of balance sheet. You know, if one company, you know, has, you know, $20 million of liquidity and another company has, you know, $300 or $400 or $500 million of liquidity, those are 2 very different companies that are worth very different amounts of money. But having said that, it is my opinion that Cleanspark's market cap versus Marathon makes no sense at all. I understand making an adjustment. Cleanspark should not necessarily be equal to Marathon, and I understand making an adjustment for the balance sheet, but Cleanspark has a lower cost per coin. They're more efficient Bitcoin miner, so they mine more Bitcoin per exahash by far than Marathon, so they have a lot of things going for them. No, they don't have 11,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Their balance sheet isn't as strong, so, you know, you got to do the pluses and minus, but all in, when I do that all in, I find Cleanspark very undervalued versus its peers, in my opinion. In fact, I think it still may be one of the most undervalued on the whole board, in my opinion. DEFCON 2 is saying that, Jeff, this is all very high risk, very speculative, so we shall see. So that is true. I mean, this, and I say that in almost every video, and if you guys are sick of hearing it, you know, it's not necessarily for all of you who all already know this, but for anybody new looking to get into the Bitcoin miners, I do think it's vitally important that they understand that even the ones that on the spectrum of Bitcoin miners may be lower risk among the Bitcoin miners, these are all high risk investments. These are high growth, high risk, potential high reward. So, you know, this is something that everybody needs to know their own risk tolerance and how much of their portfolio they're willing to have, you know, in these types of risky stocks, because there is upside and downside. So you know, depending on your risk tolerance, depending on your financial profile overall, depending on how close you are to retirement, all those things are factors as to whether or not how much you may want to be messing around in these stocks. So that is an important point. Thank you, DEFCON. Raven, thank you. Tom is smart. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we have a lot of smart people. That's what I love about our membership, and you know, even a lot of our subscribers. I look at my YouTube statistics. I'm a smaller channel, but we have a little bit of a different mix than most of the other channels. It's a little more mature audience. We do get, you know, we do get people of all ages. It's heavily skewed towards male, but as is every single financial channel out there, most of them are anywhere from 95 to 99% male viewership. I don't know why that is. That baffles me, but that is the case. So, you know, mostly male, but we do have some women that are members, not only subscribers, but members. So I appreciate that. And we got to reach out to the rest of the community, because we should have even more diversity. But we have a pretty special group, in my opinion. So I'd like to thank everybody, all the subscribers, and particularly all the members for supporting the channel, but for helping us have a nice conversation. And hopefully a lot of us have made some pretty good decisions. 2022 was very rough for everybody. So it looks like 2023 is going much better, but the year is early. So, you know, I don't want to make any grand pronouncements, but so far, so good. Knock on wood. Hopefully this, you know, Bitcoin keeps running this year. And it's not necessarily running because the market's running, because yesterday the NASDAQ was down 2%. So the NASDAQ got crushed yesterday. And the Bitcoin miners were, by and large, even. Bitcoin was up a little bit on the day. So I do think you're starting to see more and more of that separation from the equity markets. Most specifically, Bitcoin has been compared to the NASDAQ. That's been the strongest correlation. But that correlation is evaporating, in my opinion, and ultimately it will be basically gone. Again, just my opinion. We'll see. It's playing out that way at the moment. That correlation is much lower now than it was over the last year. And I think that trend is going to continue, in my opinion. Colton, welcome. Ricky said, bought a little CleanSpark yesterday at 358. Kicking myself for not buying more. Well, the only thing I could say, Ricky, is instead of kicking yourself for not buying more, pat yourself on the back for buying some at 358, because it's now at 418, so that was a good buy. Miner Doc, anybody on this stream are battle-tested through the bear market. We should all do well in 2025 with a little patience. Yeah, so Miner Doc is right on the money, and that's the time frame. 2024, 2025, that's where we got to be thinking out a couple of years, because it does get so hard. You know, we do these polls on where's Bitcoin going to go this week, but the real poll is where's Bitcoin going to be on, you know, June 30th, 2025. And if we think that's 100,000 or whatever the case may be, then, you know, that's what we're looking for over the course of time. So that is good advice, Miner Doc. I agree with that. Let's check in on the poll. Is it time to end this poll? It is. This poll has 111 votes. Okay, so pretty decisive. What's the next move for Bitcoin? We now have 81% saying 35,000 is the next move, and we now have 19% saying 25,000. So a little over 4-to-1 are bullish on a run up to 35,000 for Bitcoin as the next move. Just about one-fifth of the people think we may still go bounce off of 25,000, and that's not impossible. I'm not dismissing that. I would have picked 35 if I was allowed to vote, but we'll see. I'm hopeful. Time will tell. But I'm going to end this one. This This one was very decisive. They were getting closer and closer over the past few days, but this has been a nice breakout, and it looks like people are a little more back on the bullish side of things. All right, where am I in the... Got to find my place in the chat. George, yeah, George was going to jump in here, and I literally talked to him 10 seconds before I went live, so I'm not sure what happened. He must have got sidetracked. He was even in the chat at the time. I don't know if he's listening or just not able to get on. I'm not sure what's going on. But he's around. I talked to him right before the stream, so George is here. He's just not here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Ty is saying Marathon owns 20% of the UAE project. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Anytime you're a minority interest holder in something like that, I discount that a lot. We'll see where it goes. They're a minority interest holder in a project that hasn't really started. So that doesn't mean it's not going to be a monster someday. But for the moment, to me, that's enough that it's not yet time for, from my perspective as an investor, it's not yet time to really price that in. So I discount that. But it's something that's out there. Let's see. Darren is saying, when Bitcoin was 25K, CleanSpark was clearing 200K daily free cash. That cash just bought 20,000 new machines with zero dilution. Let that soak in capitals. So, yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. They're a very... First of all, they got themselves in a bear market. They brought themselves from 2 exahash to 6.6 exahash, and now I think 6.7. So that in a bear market crypto winter. So they did that. Yes, they did do some dilution to get there, but now they're looking to get from 6.7 to first stop is 9 and then 16. And they do mine a lot of Bitcoin. They're usually in first, second, or third Bitcoin mined per month. Now, the last couple of months, Riot and Marathon have jumped ahead of them, but over the last 12 months, CleanSpark's been in first place more than one time. This is all Core Scientific notwithstanding, because they are in Chapter 11, so they do mine a lot of Bitcoin, but obviously they have to sell them all, and until they straighten themselves out and we find out if there's anything left for shareholders, I don't include them. So they're always in the top 3 in the number of Bitcoin mined. They're always in the top 3 in efficiency in mining Bitcoin per exahash. So all those things is generating a lot of cash flow. So they, for as long as, and that's why every day, every one of these days is a good day for Bitcoin miners. When Bitcoin is at, even when it pulled back to 27,000, it's such a difference in cash flow for these guys. Bitcoin 17,000 versus Bitcoin 27,000 is just game-changingly different. So, these are every day they get here, whether it goes, the next move is up or down, all these days in the middle are big, important days for all these Bitcoin miners. JR said, at Crypto Golfer, let's go, Annie. Let's see. Jay is saying Mara's short ratio is much higher. So are they still a very shorted stock? I haven't even looked at that in a week or more. JR at JR. That, and it's a lot more hype. Are you saying Marathon's a lot more hype? I mean, Marathon and Riot have an advantage. They were first on the NASDAQ. They were the first U.S.-based companies on the NASDAQ. They got a big jump ahead of everybody else. Institutionally speaking, their adoption is much greater than all the other Bitcoin miners. A year from now, this picture might look very different than that. But at the moment, and it seems to be there's some days, they almost move counter. Either the big ones have a great day, or and the big stocks are Riot, Marathon, and Cipher are the big three, and Riot and Marathon are the big two by far. So a lot of times, like, if they're having a good day, everybody else might be having a little bit of an off day, or vice versa. Now, obviously, today, we're just green across the board. But we've been steady. You know, we got to a point very early in the day, and we haven't really moved since then. Bitfarms is up 12%. It's been up between 10 and 14% most of the day. Cleanspark's up 14%. It's been plus or minus that most of the day. Riot 9.5%. Marathon 15.5%. That's, I think, near its highs on the day right now. Crypto Golfer. I won $500 at the poker room last night and about 1,000 shares of any in the pre-market this morning. Thanks to the donkey that called my flush with 2 pair. Nice. Hey, it's nice when they do that. Just as long as it wasn't the guy who, you know, didn't belong in the hand at all and pulled a full house on the river. We've all been on, those of us who play poker, those of you who play poker, I'm sure have been on both sides of that equation. So congratulations, Crypto Golfer, on your win at the poker table and in the stock market. Darren said Marathon is a nice meme stock with poor company performance. DEFCON agrees with Darren. I mean, I understand not liking Marathon. There's 2 or 3 of these companies that are a little bit love them or hate them. So there's some strong feelings on both sides. Marathon is definitely one of those. CleanSpark has been added to that list. They seem to be one of those. HUT is now very divisive stock to talk about. So, you know, opinions vary. I'm just objectively looking at their operational reports on a monthly basis. There can be no doubt 2023, their performance is significantly better than 2022. Having said that, their 2022 performance, you know, it was pretty hard not to do better than that. It was pretty awful in 2022. Let's see, at Robert Anderson, the credibility issue relates to whether they are protecting shareholders' interest or their own personal interest. I'm guessing that's about CleanSpark and officer compensation. I can go back and see if that is correct or not. So for me, I have no issue with their officer compensation. I think they're operationally, they continue to be one of the best performing Bitcoin miners every single month. Financially, they've kept a strong balance sheet. They've kept their debt low. They are growing their exahash really as fast or faster than any of the other Bitcoin mining companies. So, yeah, they're getting rewarded for all of that. But I'm okay with that because I think that we're all going to get rewarded for that as well. And CleanSpark has taken a big run up lately. It was lagging all year. So recently, we'll go take a look at that. Recently, it's made a nice move. Okay, so that's back in December. But if you go back to April 10th, you know, that was less than 2 weeks ago. Until now, they're up 76% since April 10th. At one point, they were up 117%. So yeah, everything's pulled back a little bit, but there's been a real strong move for CleanSpark lately. I like what they're doing. I'm still high level of conviction on CleanSpark, but I know that there's a lot of people that are concerned with these management bonuses and with stock dilution. So those things will impede the stock, but I do think it's going to make its run once they get where they're going. Tom is saying, I bought 2 blue chips, Bank of America and GE. BA, is that Boeing? Don't even want to get to that other page. Yeah, BA is Boeing, not Bank of America. So Boeing and GE during the pandemic that I have done very well. But I recently own stock ticker MIGI Mawson, and I sleep at night because of a clean balance sheet and 3 times growth ahead. Cheap power. So, yeah, I mean, Mawson made some big moves. At the bottom, they had to do some major rearranging during the crypto winter, but they did what they had to do, and they're healthy now, I think. And so, yeah, I like Mawson. Let's see. All right, I'll just show you. I'm not even going to talk about this because it's too probably too sensitive a subject. But I ran into this. Yahoo fed me this headline, so I did read. Gen Z is at the top of Boss's firing list because they think they're the most difficult generation to work with. So for those of you who are on the stream right now that are Gen Z, defend yourselves, and maybe we can do a poll. I don't want... This is obviously every person's a person. So whatever generation you happen to be in doesn't mean you're lined up, you know, with whatever the general stereotypes of that generation are. But, you know, this was across a survey of a lot of employers, and they were finding Gen Z, which I looked up, and I think Gen Z people are, I think, something like between 27 years old and 40 years old. And then I think above that is Gen X, and then above that is baby boomers, and below that is what? Millennials? No, the millennials are above that. Sorry. I got my generations mixed up. Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, baby boomers. That's going backwards. Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. I also feel like anybody plus or minus 4 years of my age, we got ripped off. We're not in any of those generations, in my opinion. That's what happens. Some people get stuck in the middle between generations. Let's see. Raven said, I can't defend myself. It's true, LOL, but staying loyal to a job, no way, ain't the same. Anyways, doing the best I've ever been. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Raven is right. Raven's you got to do your thing and succeed. And, you know, lumping everybody into a generation is a very generic thing to do. But hopefully everybody here hopefully is succeeding at everything they're doing. But I do know that, you know, and I used to do a bunch of consulting work, and I know this was a big theme. People were frustrated with the Gen Z people, whether it's warranted or not. Brody saying clickbait article, Gen Z is youngest generation in workforce, so of course they'll be getting laid off or fired. I mean, that's true. I do think this is just one of those articles meant to spark a debate, and it's clickbait. You know, they're obviously they're the youngest, they're the least experienced, and, you know, I think every generation has noticed through life, the older that you get, the more you complain about, you know, the new generation. So that's an age-old story. So this is just more of the same. Stephen Andrews said, Gen Z loves mocking baby boomers. That's pathetic thinking. They create their own problems. I will say there is definitely a massive movement, and I don't know if it's Gen Z. It feels like it's everybody, but maybe it's Gen Z that really, yeah, boomer. You're a boomer. Every time anybody does anything wrong, they're a boomer. So for the record, I am not a baby boomer. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think a bunch of my audience is plus or minus that age and in that group. I just miss. Edmund is Gen pre-baby boomer. The greatest generation is now how I believe that's referred to. So glad to have representation from all generations. So, Edmund, you probably remember everybody complaining about the baby boomers, that, you know, they didn't know how to work and didn't have work ethic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is a common theme from generation to generation. Jay's saying, Edmund, agree, but just imagine if CleanSpark management decided to completely abandon their stock options and start buying shares like WULF. Their shares would triple in a matter of days. I mean, they're not going to give up their stock options. That's a part of their compensation package. And all I can say is just do yourselves a favor and look around at small cap, high growth companies. I've found companies doing much worse than this, where their officers are getting compensated 10 times what CleanSpark's officers are getting compensated. I'm not saying CleanSpark's officers aren't doing very well. They're, you know, through stock, they're being very well compensated if they hit their marks, which they're hitting. But I'm okay with that in small cap, high growth stocks. You know, if they end this year at 16 exahash and they're mining 1,000 Bitcoin and their stock's at $15, is anybody going to care that they made some money too along the way? So that's how I look at it. Now, if we see them starting to make bad decisions, that'd be a different story. But I just don't see any evidence of that at all. Let's see. Raven, I'm on my 3rd job this year, but I think I like this one. I work at a gym now and get to work out and make money at the same time. Yeah, that's a great thing. 2 birds with 1 stone. One of my best friends was a trainer at a gym for 20-something years, and he did very well at that. It's a sales position, really. Ty Gen Z bosses will say the same thing 30 years later. Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. Minor Doc said, Tom, you are Gen X like me, so I am technically Generation X. That is correct by the definition. I just don't feel like part of Gen X. I feel like there's the first few years of Gen X to me feels a little bit different than the rest of Gen X. So that's just my personal opinion. Like, for instance, if you were in high school when The Breakfast Club was in detention, or when Ferris Bueller was a senior, you know, the people plus or minus those years weren't quite yet into, because a lot of Gen X is the video game generation. And I even saw that happen. It was just 2, 3, 4 years. The difference between my freshman year in college, there was not a single person that had a video game console in their room on campus. By my senior year, I would say most of the freshmen had a gaming console in their room, and they just sat in their room and played games. That was a big, big shift. So that, I guess, is my difference. You know, that's about the time the X Games came around, so they were very into the X Games versus traditional sports, which I think the baby boomers are more into. So I think we're some kind of hybrid, but if I have to be called Gen X, then so be it. Crypto Golfer, I also just missed first year of Gen X. So tell me, am I wrong? Do you disagree with what I'm saying? I mean, what do you feel that way? What's your thoughts? Sounds like you're right plus or minus my age. Raven saying, when Stronghold 10X and Wolf 10X and any 10X, we will be, and it looks like a happy face with sunglasses. We'll be styling. Edmund, keep the live stream until the close. Wolf might make $1.80. I would love to. I got to wrap it up in a few minutes, actually. I have an appointment today. Let's see. Darren is saying, for CleanSpark officers to get stock options, the stock price must be above $21. Bet you didn't know that till now. So, that's a wrinkle. Yeah, because it's nowhere near that right now, obviously. Although I expect, for those who are buying and holding, if you're buying and holding CleanSpark, I would think that your long-term price target is well above $21. Edmund is saying, Tom, yes, I care about CleanSpark overcompensation. 15, it would go to 30 if they would cut out the awards. So, I mean, you're not alone, Edmund. A lot of people feel like that's holding the price of the stock back, and it is holding the price of the stock back to a certain extent. But I like that company. I hold that company. I do think they're going to grow in multiples on their stock price. So it maybe is going to take them a little bit longer because of that. But I think management's locked in. I think they have everybody's best interest in mind. But I understand, between the overall dilution and the management compensation, that's why CleanSpark's one of the more divisive companies in this space. Matt's saying, as a general rule, oh boy, this is not from me. Matt's saying, as a general rule, Gen Z are spoiled, lazy, and completely irrational about how the world works. But there are some gems in there. Also, it's the previous generations that created Gen Z. So that's a fair point, Matt. Who's to blame? Again, that's Matt's opinion. Talking Investing does not necessarily agree or disagree with any of these opinions or have any opinion on Gen Z. I just have an opinion that we're missing a generation. I don't know what it's called, but I think there's from 1966 to 1972 or something like that. There was just another thing going on. Jay is saying, if WULF is $1.80, then it will have a bigger market cap than CleanSpark, even if they produce less than half the Bitcoin, and the entire exahash plan for 2023 is 1/3 of CleanSpark. So this is a part of the CleanSpark story, and it's because of what Edmund's talking about and what a lot of people have mentioned. Their stock price is being suppressed because of officer compensation and dilution. Whether that's fair or unfair is, everybody's personal opinion. I hold a lot of CleanSpark. To me, I'm calling it a buying opportunity, but that's just my opinion. So, and those are some of the relationships I look at, Jay. That's exactly right. I compare those two things and say, does that make sense? Terawulf's cost per coin, we think, is outstanding. It may be the cheapest, but CleanSpark has a very good cost per coin as well. Not as good as Terawulf, but there's a lot of factors. DEFCON saying, at Matt Brown, right on. Barry, I found a crypto company with an investment worth $2 million in SpaceX. NPPTF. Unusual mix for sure. How small of a market cap? Well, we'll just look it up real quick. NPPTF. Give me a second. I don't know why. Why? All right. Neptune Digital Assets. So market cap 26 million. We do have some that I have on my watch list that are, this small, although everything's grown a bit this year, but this is a very, very, very small company. And what do they do in crypto? Are they an exchange? Neptune Digital Assets builds, owns, and operates digital currency infrastructure assets in Canada. The company stakes and lends various digital currencies. It also engages in the Bitcoin mining, node operations, cryptocurrency staking. So they're in a lot of things. I thought these guys were more of a, what do you call it, a crypto exchange, but maybe they do a lot of things, and it sounds like in addition to all that, they have an investment in SpaceX. So very small market cap, but for anybody who's interested, this is in the space. They're not a pure play Bitcoin miner by any means, but they're in the crypto space. MinerDoc is saying we need a 10K to see Wolf's cost to mine. So yes, and I did that. That cost per coin is coming out. I got the December 31st numbers for a lot of these companies. Some of the Bitcoin miners still have not released their December 31st, 2022 financial statements. So, you know, for those that haven't even released, those are all, you know, on the members, we talked yesterday about the fact that that's already outdated information. So some people haven't even released that. But, you know, it's the most recent financial information we have. But I will tell you, I did do some comparing. I looked at, because I think it was Iris Energy I looked at. Every month they tell you what their cost per coin was in their monthly operational update. There's a few companies that have started doing that. And as I went back and looked at the fourth quarter, it pretty much lined up with where their financial statements ended. So I felt good about that. I felt like those reports seem to be fairly accurate. Sometimes they are not. A lot of these companies report in their investor packages or presentations that, you know, their cost per coin is, you know, X, and sometimes it's drastically different than that. And that doesn't mean they're lying. It just, you know, has to do with what phase they're at in gearing up and how much they had to curtail or self-curtail. There's so many variables that go into that. But, you know, the bottom line is once you see that 10K, that's what actually happened. So whatever their theoretical cost per coin is, in the 10K is what their actual cost per coin was. So I will tell you that Iris Energy in October, November, December, what they reported as their cost per coin seemed to be in line with what their 10K said was their cost per coin. So I'll say that much. I can't vouch for all of them right now. Robert Anderson, didn't CleanSpark write off those options with high strike price, changed compensation to what it currently is with shares fully vesting at 10 exahash? So I'm going to reread their, I haven't read that since they put it out. I'm going to reread exactly what their compensation is. That's got to go. That's got to go on the list because it is a highly debated topic. So let's just revisit and remind ourselves exactly what their compensation plan is. Crypto Golfer, I'm superstitious. I avoid stocks with 5 letters. Fair enough. TKO, technical analysis on Marathon, please. So I'm waiting for everybody. We're at April 26th. So next week, these guys are going to put out their April production reports. And then I'll go through and look at their operational reports and then do the technical analysis. So, you know, hopefully next week we'll get one of those for Marathon. Jay is saying, my only gripe is that I only have 5K of Wolf, but 50K of CleanSpark. There, now you know. Well, so you built out your position fully in CleanSpark. It sounds like you wish it was a little more balanced between the two, but you know, the run up in Wolf happened at light speed. You know, it wasn't happening. Several months it was sideways, and I kicked myself a little bit too. I dollar cost averaged in several times, but my position's not as big as I wanted it to be. And I didn't start dollar cost averaging until the beginning of 2023. So, you know, no, I'm in a similar ratio versus CleanSpark versus Wolf in my portfolio. So all right, let's check on Bitcoin, and then I have to wrap this up for now. Totally sideways this entire live stream. We had a huge run up this morning to You know, we're somewhere just under 29,800. All the Bitcoin miners seem to be holding on to their gains. They're not at their highs of the day, other than WULF, which is now 22% up on the day. So that is at near its high of the day. But if you look at Bitfarms, it's at 11. It was at 14. CleanSpark's at 12. It was at 15. Marathon's at 14. It was at 15. So that's still pretty close. But very, very healthy day. I mean, super green board. Hopefully this holds on for the rest of the day, and maybe we can get a move up over 30,000. We will see. So cost per coin video should be out by tonight, and tomorrow, I think live stream tomorrow as well. So tomorrow is Thursday, so I think we'll do a live stream at 11:30 tomorrow. And so hopefully I will see you guys on that live stream. And everybody have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. Welcome to all the new members. And remember, anybody who's not yet a member, you can support the channel for $5 a month by becoming a member. It's much appreciated. Thanks to all the subscribers, and thanks to everybody's input on the chat today. Great conversation. I don't know why George must have got sidetracked. He did not make it. So hopefully we will see him in tomorrow's live stream. So have a great day, everybody. Best of luck.